Good morning. I was just thinking about, after Ricardo's stream, I was just thinking about the church and hypocrisy and how people would take my threat potentially for calling Carl's church on him. Like, I was looking at it from Dean's perspective, he'll just be pissing himself laughing. I was looking at it from Carl's perspective, and I was like thinking, where would he take that? Where would he take that threat? Because we all know what these guys are like when there's a threat of doxing, even though they literally go around proudly stating, proudly wearing people's doxers, crying about the slightest slight against them, whilst like proudly doxing and false striking and all this stuff openly. For some reason, all these people who used to be against that, like, you know, Volp, Cyan, I know Volp had his ambiguous way of it, but their public personas were very much down the radical Rick, start of DTs, very judgmental, very straight down the line, and they had a very clear stance on snakes, on doxing and on their ethics. And now look at this, you've got Dean just literally going around bold as brass, and these people are turning a blind eye to it. So my question to you guys is, which was the fake? Is it now that you're being fake, or was it then that you were being fake? Or are you just that spineless? I'd like an answer on that one, because you guys were very opinionated and very strong in your position. So I think we are entitled to some sort of fucking explanation as to why you've done such a massive flip-flop and why suddenly it's all right. Going back to my original point of what I was going to say about Carl with the church, it got me thinking then, like, I suppose it just boils down, and this is what all the doxing and everything comes down to in the end. It boils down to, are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of what you've done? Can you put your name behind the things that you do in life? You know, are you happy with your job? And I mean, not everybody gets what they want. Do you know what I mean? You can work hard towards making it work for you. I think even at the lowest position, that's just my probably quite privileged way of looking at things, I'd imagine. But I wouldn't say I'm particularly privileged. I'm just being understanding for the fact that not everyone gets to do the things they want to do in life and things like that. But at the same time, you know, you've got to put something of yourself behind your ethics, in my opinion. Or unless it's just a completely opposite way of living, very much living a lie, very much, you know, just, I don't know, maybe it's not all about skulking around being a rat. Maybe there is a space where you can legitimately be in opposition to everything that you stand for publicly and still have some integrity. I don't know, because it's a foreign concept to me, completely foreign concept. So that's why I don't want to judge it too harshly. But look, I mean, look at where we are. Look at the people that we are surrounded by and the judging that goes on with these people. Which is why I am saying, like, I'll fucking talk to the church about it, let them see what you've been up to. So I was thinking about it, I was like, well, say for instance somebody showed what I was up to someone else. Yes, there are people like my friends' kids and people like that who want to know what my YouTube channel is, and of course I'm not going to show them. And people at work and things like that, I'm not going to show them just because for them, really, for their benefit. But really, like, I really wouldn't care, and it really wouldn't matter, because I am proud of everything that I put my name behind on this. Even when I'm doing a little bit below the belt attacks, it's always had a build-up to it. There's a paper trail. Anyone with half a brain could look at this and look at everything that's happened with me and be like, fucking hell, there's someone standing up to bullying, online bullying and harassment. There's someone who's actually standing up for a load of weak-ass fucking blokes who are actually under control of this person right at this moment, who are too scared to do anything about it. And I would have absolutely no problem in showing anybody what I've been up to. Could you say the same, Carl, with all your hidden channels, hidden videos and the rest? Can you, I mean, with Dean it's a little bit more complicated because there's a bravado, there's a fake self, it's all a bit of a narrative. Nothing that is bad apart from the public mortification when it does hit home, but nothing that's particularly bad always happens to the fake self. It doesn't really happen to him in his head. So, like, for Dean, it's a little bit more complicated. But, you know, on the converse side of that, anything that's good, if anything good does happen in that guy's sad, pathetic life, but if anything good does happen, that also happens to the false self. So you aren't actually getting any of the benefit. You know, Dean, you've had it. Do you know what I mean? You will never connect with anyone if you carry on down this and you just stick your head in the sand. You don't change it. You don't challenge yourself, which obviously you haven't up to now, because you wouldn't be so far gone as you are. You haven't had that much trauma. I'd imagine you've probably had like not the best upbringing and whatever like that, but you know, it's not the fucking end of the world. You've got a house, you've got a kid, you're still alive. You know, there's no excuse for this behaviour apart from pure laziness and just a lack of character and a lack of spine. Whereas a lot of people go through this shit, mate. A lot of people have had I've had a narcissistic overlay put on me by people before. We all go through shit. It's called growing up. It's called dealing with the fact that you're not perfect, but you deal with it. You fucking look at yourself, you have a word with yourself, and you deal with it. You do not do this. You just throw up more and more shit at people, and you hide behind people. And you're hiding behind people for your own self. But anyway, my point is, are any of you guys proud of yourselves, of any of the things that you have achieved? Especially you, Rabbit Dude, are you proud? Would you be proud if people saw the sort of people that you're hanging around with? Would you be proud of putting your name behind the attacks and the things that Albert and Dean put across to the world and put out into the universe? I am proud of what I've done, and I'm proud of everything that's on my channel. So you can, you know, so when it comes to doxing, it doesn't fucking matter, does it? Whereas you guys have got way more to lose, and your lying will only work in a contained environment. So once anybody sees from outside, anyone who actually has a vested interest in any way, and that's where the problem is, because no one actually gives a shit. But at any second, if someone does look from outside who gives a shit, you guys are fucked. Like what happened to Lewis. His mum does actually give a shit about him, it turns out, you know what I mean? And he actually gives a shit about his mum, because if not, he wouldn't have run away like he did, because he was embarrassed.